Two women did nothing to stop an old army veteran from being literally eaten alive. They didn't even break a sweat, and his death was all their fault. Now decide for yourself if justice was served. Haley Sully, 30, and Della Woods, 29, have proven themselves to be horrible human beings in more ways than one. Sadly, an elderly army veteran paid the price for the despicable behavior of these degenerates, all because he was unfortunate enough to live near them when they decided to starve their dog Charlie for 2 days. After the women left the large canine, which hadn't had anything to eat or drink in 2 days, outside to swelter in the heat on a hot day, without shade, food, water, an unknowing neighbor was literally eaten alive by the animal. Sully and Woods had ignored Charlie, allowing him to run around their yard freely. Then, when a neighbor opened his door, the hungry dog ran at the man, mauling him to death after the crazed canine had escaped its yard. Retired hospital porter Clifford Clark, who had just celebrated his 79th birthday the day before, was attacked by the Presa Canario breed in his own Liverpool backyard after he opened his back door to air out his kitchen as he cooked a meal, according to The Independent.
Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these real-life stories every day. Now, back to the story.
After the vicious attack, it was discovered that Charlie was so hungry, in the hours he killed Clark, the dog attempted to eat a plastic bowl, birdseed, and even some cigarette butts. Prior to the incident, neighbors reported seeing the dog behaving in a dangerous manner. One neighbor who saw Charlie snarling and foaming at the mouth called Liverpool Council dog wardens, but was told it would take 4 hours for them to respond to the call, according to Mirror. Not long after the call, Charlie found Clark's open back door. Neighbors soon heard screams coming from Clark's home as he yelled, "Get off me!" Horrified, one neighbor witnessed the pensioner being dragged out of his back door and mauled by the dog. He called the police, but when armed officers arrived, it was too late. Another witness compared it to watching a horror film, while a police officer said it was the worst thing I'd ever seen. Although police shot the dog dead, Clark had already been savagely eaten alive by the ravenous animal, with the dog having literally amputated the victim's left arm and his right arm only hanging by a thread. Clark was transported to a hospital only to be pronounced dead. Shockingly, officers said the dog was so starved and agitated that when they arrived, it not only jumped 6 feet and tried to bite the end of the rifle used to kill it, it also got back up and tried to attack again after being shot once. It was then shot a second time and killed, Liverpool Echo reported. "I'm satisfied this dreadful and forceful attack on Mr. Clark was entirely avoidable," Judge Mark Brown told Haley Sully and Della Woods in court as the brutal killing was described during proceedings. Mr. Clark was literally eaten alive by Charlie when large amounts of tissue were ingested by the dog, and that is a very shocking, appalling, and tragic event. Mr. Clark suffered a horrific death, and you have taken away from his family the love and companionship he would have provided. Haley Sully and Della Woods, who wept in court, both pleaded guilty to 3 counts of causing unnecessary suffering to a dog. They also admitted to breaching the Dangerous Dogs Act. However, the Presa Canario, which originated in Spain's Canary Islands, was not banned where they lived. It is, however, renowned as a large, powerful breed. This was a vicious attack on a defenseless man who was powerless to fight back against this large and powerful dog, prosecutor Gary Simpson said. The guilty pleas of these 2 women have thankfully brought this case to a relatively speedy conclusion and have saved Mr. Clark's relatives the ordeal of a trial, Simpson added. Haley Sully and Della Woods were both responsible for the dog's welfare and behavior on that fateful day, the prosecutor declared. Their failure to make sure the dog was cared for and under control has led to a man's death, and they must now come to terms with that. Our thoughts are with the family of Mr. Clark at this sad time. Shockingly, the pair somehow avoided a manslaughter charge. The women were instead only sentenced to 1 year in prison after allowing their dog to get to the point it did, ultimately resulting in an innocent man's horrific death. Both Sully and Woods are banned from ever owning another dog again. So a man and a dog lost their lives because of the neglect inflicted by these women, yet they were given just 12 months behind bars? Does that seem like enough of a punishment to you?
If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone who may find it interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.